I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I am your host, Dano, and you guys are watching the Cryptid Podcast. You guys, I have a return guest. His name's Christopher, and he was on one of the earlier podcasts, and he kind of spoke. He had a distant sighting in Utah, which was pretty incredible when he last told it. We were talking off camera, and I remember him saying that, and then when he said it, it kind of popped in my head exactly which episode we're talking about. So, but you guys, tonight, he's had a couple of more encounters with Bigfoot, and he's going to tell us those. Now, per his request, he doesn't want to be on camera, so I'm going to be putting up a really nice picture. It's going to be tranquil. Imagine yourself kayaking in the water and soaking up the sun. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully that'll bring something to the stories as well. But you guys, before I do that, thank you so much for all the support you guys show the channel. You guys, I am so quickly coming up on the goal that I set for myself when it comes, well, not for myself, but for the channel. And right now we are currently sitting at 4947, and the goal was 5,000 before the end of the month. So you guys, thank you so much for helping out and making that happen. I truly appreciate everything. If you guys have had an account and you'd like to come on the show, please shoot me an email at thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Again, that's thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring Christopher on the show. Let me put this beautiful little picture up here, and hope you guys like it. Christopher, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good.
All right.
So
I've had quite a few experiences since we talked last, investing quite a bit into it, traveling and learning a bit more and networking, and it's just been great.
yeah, you've been busy because you and I've been kind of sharing a few emails back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So, why don't you go ahead and get in on some of your most recent encounters? It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, well, at Christmas time, I was up in the forest at a home, and I was playing some vocals of Neff from Ontario Sasquatch with Mike Patterson, who's a friend of mine. And I was playing the vocals at about 10 o'clock at night, lots of snow, and all of a sudden I hear this snapping sound, and then a whack, and I was like, what the heck was that? And then my mom barged out of the house and said, like, did you shoot my window? And I said, I'm like an older man here. I'm not going to be like shooting your window, and there's so much snow I couldn't get to it. And then, my mom said, oh, then it's probably the Sasquatch. And I thought, okay, well, and the second that the snap sound happened, the solar panel lights on the front porch lit up a bit. And then that night, apparently at 12:30 at night, something turned on a light and left it on in the bathroom, and it wasn't one of us. So, and then about, I guess, it was Christmas, right? Then about May or June, I went to the barn, and I saw one of the slingshots I had many, many decades ago sticking out of the storage, and no one in my family that we know of went in there. So I'm pretty sure it's this 18-year-old. Like, I have a psychic buddy, and he's had so many experiences. However, I was speaking to him about asking him if he can do some, psychic work on it. And the second he said it's an 18-year-old that likes rocks, a rock fell in the room, and it was just so timely and interesting. So that's the slingshot at Christmas time. Another time too, I have a friend who has property up in, if you want to look on the map, and for Ontario, outside of east of North Bay, and many, many experiences there. On the way there, off the side of the Highway 11, it was like in the early afternoon, sunny. It wasn't very busy at all on the highway, and look out my right window, and there was this pretty, forest person, about 40, 50 feet off the highway, total sunlight. And I saw a waist up, must have been hunching over. I was just only allowed to see chest up, and he was all black, thick, wide chest, and then no neck, big head, big round black eyes. And but what got me was the shoulders. The shoulders were super round, like a cantaloupe, and he had brown, like 3 or 4 inch long hair sticking out. And I thought, oh my god, I got to see him for like a good second, or even more, right? And he was near Proudfoot Road, so it was pretty interesting how, like 10, 20 seconds later, whatever it was, I see the sign Proudfoot Road, named after him, maybe, I don't know. And then that night at my buddy's house, just around the fire, and about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we both hear whoop whoop, and we're like, okay, that was interesting. And then shortly thereafter, there was this very low, slow moving gold spherical ball of light, and I filmed it. I'm starting to film my experiences and recording them, and filmed it, and just slowly went around us, kind of thing. And I've seen that many other times, which I'll get into. And then again, shortly thereafter, we both heard the whoop whoop. That was quite interesting. And there too, we've heard stomps, succession, and then funny tree bending back and forth. And then that night, I went into the trailer, and I woke up to the door handle on the trailer getting pulled all funny, like 3 or 4 times, just silly like, and then the cooler getting smashed around, because that's what I was thinking about before going to bed, those two things. And I woke up in the middle of the night to that, and I thought to myself, well, those noises were happening. I thought, that can't be for real. That sounds so silly. And no one does that right after each other. And then I woke up, and the cooler wasn't moved at all. And so I think that was just like a forest person messing around, teaching more things in their own way. And then I was with Mike Patterson and the psychic friend and another friend too at the location where Mike Patterson has the ongoing relationship with Nathan, the other one in Yanyan, and the other ones he's had a 15 relationship. Anyways, we went to the one campsite location, almost similar to that, not as beautiful as that, but close. And the Mike and the other Michael hopped on the ATVs and took off. And actually, hold on. So when Michael showed up, he was saying he was getting a lot of telepathic, I don't know what it is, information or whatnot, interactions with the Greys. So that was interesting. And then as he was finished setting up his tent, a rock was thrown to the little forest beside us. So I knew something was up. Then he went for a walk with the camera and recorded like a tree knock, like a hollow, loud tree knock. It's pretty incredible recording, and he laughs because he knows who it is. He just thinks everything's funny whenever he meets, forest people or star people. So, anyways, Michael and Mike shortly thereafter went for an ATV, and I was with my buddy, and we're sitting beside each other. And all of a sudden, I see this head poke from behind a tree really quickly, a round-shaped, cinnamon colored face. And I went over and looked after that, and it's about 7 feet tall. And then I'm sitting there with the buddy, and I get this poke in my side, like my hip kind of thing, where I'm kind of fatty. And it was for like a good second and a bit, like a almost a sharp push. And I looked over at my buddy, and certainly it wasn't him. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't say anything. And then next, like 8 feet behind him, I get a whoop. And I knew it wasn't him when I first heard the funny sound. It sounded female. And I knew it was right after the press, so it was her. And having fun. And you could tell that she was having fun. Maybe she was like, oh, you're a bit fat or something, or just in her own way, messing around, flirting. I have no idea. So I go, my buddy, was that you? And he's like, what are you talking about? And then so I explained to him. And then that night there was some commotion around the campsite. I could hear movement and feet moving and whatnot. And then I woke up in my hammock at like 3 3 a.m. or something to like this funny chatter sound to my left and in front of me to my left, and then like across like the inlet, basically on the lake, and it went back and forth, and I was just listening to like the location of it, and then it like made me like hypnotized, and I like passed out. So that was quite interesting. I wanted to know if any of the audio picked up the that chatter sound, but I never got an answer for that. And uh, then we were at a location where you can do a C5. Basically, it's a C5 cabin. It was built for the peaceful interactions with the star people, and it's later branched out to the forest people because there's quite a bit of forest people have come to greet us and show their presence and all that. At the location, there's this incredible, like, I don't know, 20-foot tree with dry, long sticks, vertical on angles, basically, all around it. It's supposed Sasquatch fort. But what got me was this intricate, smaller section. It's kind of like 2 foot by 2 foot vertical, skinny, like 1 foot long sticks or whatever, interwoven really well and dried together. And some of them are like balancing. There's no way that a human being would do that. It would take so much time and strength, and it seems so strange. And then, so anyways, I checked that out. We filmed it and everything. We have that on HD. We have a videographer there that's documenting all this stuff. So they're quite a team. Anyways, so that night we heard like this a small wind start just like in one of the trees kind of thing. And then shortly thereafter, a slam of a log, whack. And I go, okay. And so we did this guided meditation, and some interesting things happened. I don't want to go into that detail now, but what happened was a sphere, the same golden spherical ball of light, appeared perfectly at the center of the lake, and it flew silently towards us, and it dropped in altitude quite a bit right towards us, and then did a gradual turn. And so I believe that I don't need to have too many patterns to understand that. I believe that these forest people are using these spherical balls as ships for I don't know, but after the experiences with the forest people, supposed forest people, that's what's going on, is like these spherical balls of light. So that was interesting. And then about 2 weekends ago, I was at the forest home basically, and there wasn't any activity. Usually there's some sort of indication that's not normal that I'm aware of. And I basically went and said goodbye to the forest, the tree line, where I've had 3 smells. Like in the past, if you recall, there was 2 stinky smells and one really nice smell, and then a do-rap vocal after like some commotion. There's been like some kerfuffles there. The Y sticks were given there. So anyways, I went to that area and said, hope you enjoy your summer, and really like to meet you. We could be friends. I was told you like rocks and all this stuff, and like we can have fun. You like slingshots. That's cool. I like slingshots too. Like I just did the verbal thing for a bit, and poured my heart out and wanted to make friends. And then I went back to my car, and then like 10 seconds later, I'm like loading up my car, and the trailer that I wasn't even near slammed down, crashes super loud. I fell right off the hitch, and it's been that way for weeks. And then funny like bird sound, like it was peculiar. Right beside it, there weren't any birds in the tree. So yeah, that's basically that's all I can think of right now. So it's quite a bit. Try to make it concise and just run into storytelling, just into documenting my experiences.
Yeah, so as I was listening to your encounters here, I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of confused in a way because you kind of jumped from where your mom, you heard this loud like crack that something hit her window.
Yes.
And she comes out to you.
Yes.
And she's like, "What are you doing?
Did you shoot my window?"
Yeah. And what did she think you shot the window with?
I have no idea, but clearly I let her figure out that we had so much snow up here, right? There's so much snow. I didn't have any boots on. She came out like right after, like 2 seconds after. She jumped up, grabbed her fur coat, and was like out right on the porch, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Did you shoot my window?" And I'm like she was in shock at something, because she was just sitting quietly playing her game or whatever, card game on her tablet, and whack right beside her, right?
Now, let me ask you this. Did you yourself get a chance to look around the window? Did you see anything that looks like it hit and then fell?
Yeah, the next day I went and inspected. The only thing I saw was like small animal footprints around it, but they were kind of like couple, probably like days before that. They weren't fresh tracks. I tried to look for damage, nothing. But so I just like told my buddies about it, and then but then I realized that it was my old slingshot that he used, and then I went out and because I have a pretty good idea that he was right on the edge of our main path, like behind the house, and I'm pretty sure he was like on a mound, elevated mound, and shot like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 feet from an elevated position. And there is a rock garden and a tree garden, and I was standing there and looking at the window that he shot, and I'm like, he had to have some pretty damn good aim to shoot that hawk.
So here's where I'm kind of flabbergasted in a way. Are
Yeah.
you saying that a young Sasquatch used a slingshot and shot your mom's window potentially?
I'm like 99.9% sure. Like,
Now,
yeah,
it's not,
like, go ahead.
it's not the first time that I've heard
Really?
of encounters that they've used a tool of some kind.
Yeah, like,
You
I
know?
mean, he would have had to enter, like, this is like deep end storage in an old barn, and like I didn't even know I still had it. It's like a rusted slingshot, and the thing was literally sticking out between two boxes when I went in like May or whatever, June, whatever, was just sticking out there. So he went. So my theory is this: he went in through the wall of the barn, went into the box, removed it, shot my mom's window. And then I don't know. I didn't go to the barn for months, right? Because of snow and whatever, and it was actually damaged, whatever. But anyways, and I went to go and look for some of my stuff for the seasonal stuff, and it was sticking out between two boxes. And I'm like, no one in my family, no one who's access to there would even care. Like, we got guns and all that stuff. We don't play with these old shitty slingshots.
Okay,
But
let me ask you
he
this.
thinks it's fun. He thinks it's fun throwing rocks at the house and everything. And
Let
go ahead.
me ask you this. Would you entertain the thought that he potentially found that because he's curious and nosy, found it, kind of worked with it a little bit, figured out what it can do, and then that's when he decided, "Oh, I'm going to shoot this at the house."
Yeah, I mean,
That's
and then
crazy. I'm not saying
he didn't return it properly. He left it sticking out because he's young and he doesn't care to put things back properly like an adult would, and a human adult. You know what I mean?
now.
Respectable, you know.
This Sasquatch, have you seen him before?
Not that one, not that I'm aware of. But as I mentioned, I saw the one where he stopped. It could be him. He could be traveling, but that was like a good, I think, about an hour north of from where I saw it. So my buddy says it's like a Sasquatch family that lives underneath the home and the rocks that are hollow. So I don't know. Like, I like reality. I like what I experience and not speculation. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you can put patterns together and see repetition and behavior and all that stuff, consensus and all that. But anyways,
Yeah. So the other time you said that you encountered something, which to me it could very well be a Sasquatch, and I think that's what you were kind of leading to as well, is that you were sleeping in a hammock,
yeah,
and before that you heard vocalizations, and then when you were in the hammock you also heard vocalizations, you heard footfall. About how close were those vocalizations, and how close do you think those footfalls were uh in conjunction to where you were
no,
at? And number
I don't.
one, you're
Yeah,
sleeping in a hammock outside in the woods. I would never do that. You're a lot braver than I am.
Oh, I've done it so deep in like Algonquin. I had a bear sniffing me because I had bacon on my pants that I forgot to take off, and he was sniffing me in the middle of the night and scratched my pack. Like put a green garbage bag around so insects and water doesn't get into it, whatever. Like seal it up. And he scratched it, so I'm not really afraid of that stuff, but not here really. I mean, the reason why I say that is because, like, okay, a bear could mess you up to like 400 pounds, but generally they don't. Let's see, around their cubs or whatnot. Once in a while, there's cougars, but in terms of like the forest people, we can't see them or they're interdimensional, and they're way bigger than us. And I just like I've had the one where you got the oop oop sounds, right, where the two Y6 were put on top of each other. When I turned away for a second, the portal opened. I made two sounds. Two bird a loon sound and like a chickadee sound, and then all night there was the owls and all these stuff above us in the canopy of the trees, and then like there's this UFO, a round spherical white ball with a V-shaped one chasing it, and the sounds of like an F-18 or whatever chasing them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not really in fear. I chose love and to believe them. Like another time too, I was in my hammock, and the second I hopped my hammock, he dragged his thumb down my new strap because I was happy about my new straps for my hammock, whatever. And first time using them, and he rubbed it sounded like he was rubbing his thumb down right behind on the big tree, like 4 feet away from my head. And then I just felt, instead of being scared, I felt like total contentment because I knew like they were there because I wanted to, to interact with them and learn more about them and have them around, right? So I'm not really in fear.
So people who are listening, if you're wondering who he's referring to as the forest people, he's talking about Sasquatch. And it's not the first time that that I've heard, or if you guys really listen to a lot of different podcasts, you'll find guests that come on here and call them the forest people, and there's nothing wrong with that. And oh, by the way, if you guys are also wondering what episode Christopher was on, he was on episode 42 called the Mantis Protocol First Contact. Which was, in my opinion, I thought it was a pretty darn good episode. So after you guys check this one out, head on back to episode 42 and check out Mantis Protocol First Contact. It's pretty wild.
It's all real. It's all real. I chose love and to believe them, and I try to serve God and be genuine about this, and just try to learn everything and meditate and yeah, man, it's been incredible.
Right. And it's a lot of people, they'll tell you, this is definitely not the first time I've heard this. I even believe this, that these creatures, they can pick up on your aura. They can pick up on your vibrations. They can pick up on your energy. And if you are a genuine person and you are not bringing any drama to the table, so to speak, you're more apt to encounter them in one way, shape, or form, whether it be a visual sighting, or like, Christopher, you had when it was there while you were sleeping and it was within arm's reach of you, and it was checking out, of all things, new straps for your hammock. Now, you also mentioned that you went to what did you call it? The cabin, the C5.
Yeah.
The cabin. Now, let me ask you this question about C5, because I know when I first heard about it, people say, oh, well, we use that to project the energy into the sky that will guide or contact, extraterrestrial beings to come in and visit. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that by using CE5, you have the ability to sense, or they have the ability to sense that you're projecting your energy out, that may kind of catch their curiosity and bring them into you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can go through a quick explanation of how C5 works and the success I've had. That's been absolutely incredible. But when I was at that C5 cabin, after that rock was slamming, I could hear kind of like commotion in the forest. I could sense one was up in there. Because I've heard previous visit, I got a like in my left ear, and then commotion out in about 60 feet on the lake, like commotion there. But then when I was in this meditative state, we were like going back and forth, like very intense thoughts, very intense feelings, very intense energy was in my mind, and I was like trying to like project that into the forest, and then came back to me. So it's like a very mental thing, really, like a telepathic thing going on. I don't fully know, but it's just, I know that after that, another light, after that spherical ball of light came down to us, and it was silent, all that another light was in the sky above us that was like that was gray, circular gray, and it flashed at different, it would like flash, 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 and then not flash for a while, and then come back, flash, 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 flash. Just totally random flashing, blinking, which and then the light, also the sky would like flash all these different, it would just flash like all these different colors too. That was a wild night. Like we did some deep meditation and stuff I'll tell you offline that I still can't believe that happened. It's just, I don't feel comfortable sharing that because it's fucking unbelievable.
No.
Anyway.
I get you on that for sure. I remember, there was a time when I was in the military, when I stationed at Ep.107 Air Force Base, that I really got in, and I still, this is where I started meditating, was in Ep.107, because the job that I had, a very stressful job.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a buddy of mine who started doing meditation. And he says, "Hey man, if you need some help relaxing and just kind of like letting all the tension out of your body," he goes, try meditation. And I said, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And he's like, "Well, I'll show you." So, we went into the day room, and we just started, I followed what he's doing, and I got into it. I found that I was doing it every single day. And
Awesome.
it's amazing on how, like, your entire body, you could feel things just leave your entire body. And that's when I learned about grounding, going outside barefoot, and,
Mm-hmm.
walking in the grass, walking in the dirt, and all that type of stuff, like physically trying to re-energize, for lack of better terms, your internal batteries to recharge those. And there was a point in time where it kind of freaked me out, and I described it to somebody, and they said I did, like, what is it, astral
Travel.
yeah, I was in my dorm room, and I was meditating, and my body felt completely like weightless. I felt weightlessness.
Yeah, you're levitating.
Well, I saw myself sitting on the floor.
Oh, above.
Yeah, I was watching myself, and
Oh,
then
okay. Yeah, you left your body, but your spirit left your body, kind of thing, and you went somewhere else, or
I actually went through the door. I went out of the door that went to the outside, and I'm standing on the balcony that overlooked this main road on base across from the parade field. And then I walked over, like, just drifted down and then walked over into the parade field. And then someone knocked on my door, and it's like everything just got sucked back in real quick. And I opened my eyes when I heard the knock on the door.
wow.
So yeah, it scared me, and I went and asked him. He's like, "Dude, you have no idea."
Yeah, that's pretty special, man. That's awesome. You do that.
So, but I didn't do it anymore for a while because it
Oh,
scared me. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I definitely believe in the power of meditation. And when you talk about your CE5 meditation, there's another person that I had on that also talked about CE5. Um, I get this vision of, like, you're meditating and you're projecting your energy. I kind of get this picture in my head of a light emitting from immediate leaving your body that shoots up into the air. It's like a beacon.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and then anything that can see that light, they hone in on it, whether it be an extraterrestrial, whether it
Yeah.
be, a sentient being, a
Yeah.
Bigfoot or anything like that. And I think that they can read the energy in that light, knowing that you're not there to cause harm or anything like that. Is that kind of
Well,
a way to look at it?
when I was in that, it's funny you say that because when that spherical ball of light showed up at the C5 cabin, the psychic Michael was doing the meditation, and he said, "Keep your beacon bright. Keep on shining your beacon." So I just learned that recently, to shine out there, and then we had success, and the other phenomena happened that I don't want to talk about. But I could briefly tell you my 2013 experience with the super advanced light ship. Do you want me to tell you that?
Sure.
Yeah, so 2013, I'm super excited to go camping with my new girlfriend in the Perry Sound area. And so I was learning about like Dr. Greer's version of C5 meditation for contact. And I kind of modified my way to be more to myself and just way more basic. It just seemed more truthful to me. But anyways, so excited to show my girlfriend, and that I said like, oh, it'd be cool to see turtles sunbathing and loons and moose and and see a UFO. Well, we went super portage, like we portaging super far. It's since closed the area, but then we're going down this river, and there's two moose were behind each other on this right near the lake, and I pop up the canoe, and so they pop up, and they silently do like a 180 and go into the bush. And then we went around this corner, and we hear all this like running through the forest of the trees, and they were like flying through the trees and zigzagging and maybe jumping up high and stomping down. I was like, what is this? And then it just felt like they didn't want me there. So I was like, I should respect that. So we left. So anyways, that night, I did a C5 meditation in the camper, basically. So I laid down and I did breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth. So as long as I can go in through my nose and then out through my mouth. And so I went to a very deep state of relaxation. And then in that state, the theta state, I brought into my consciousness love. So I felt love for a very long time. And then I switched to unity for a very long time. And then welcoming for a very long time. And then oneness for a very long time. And then I showed where I am in my mind's eye. And we're on the edge of the Andromeda galaxy. And I envisioned our solar system in alignment, and then I envisioned our sun, and then where the Earth is supposedly, right, and then the continent to the hemisphere to the country to the province, all the way to the location. And then I kind of like passed out, and the next night I went to say to my girlfriend, we should brush teeth and go to bed. And all of a sudden I see this bright light in the distance. I think to myself, well, they're not even allowed to have motorized craft there, like you can't have a boat with a motor on it, right? So I was like, what is this light? And I thought to myself, there isn't any airport in the area. And so I said to my girlfriend, get up, let's go to the beach. So we go to the beach, and the ball of light was closer, and then all of a sudden it's like right above us, and it was orange and red, two-dimensional, about, I don't know, 80 feet above us, directly above us. And it was about 50 feet wide. It was like a football, but a horizontal football. The orange and red were overlapping each other, almost like the orange has like a smile and the red was under it. And then it suddenly, the technology was so advanced, like it was like not 4K or 10K, it was like 100,000K TV resolution, brightness, clarity, richness, right? So it flew directly above us for a good while, and I started chanting Om to it, that I did in the pyramid for my initiation. And the pyramid was vibrating. Anyways, I chanted Om to it, and then Om Mani Padme Hum, which is a Buddhist chant, and it did a right turn and went a 45-degree angle, and it's like in Star Trek. Like Star Trek does it almost exactly the same. It went from like 5 miles per hour to Mach 10,000 in like a tenth of a second. It was there, did the right turn, did 45, and then just shot in the night sky, and it was just like a white light, stretching light gone. And I cried, and and it was really quiet in the campsite, and people came to the beach and like right in my face, what'd you see and everything, and I just explained to them what I saw, and I was just crying because I was just so overwhelmed that I was laying in the sand crying on the beach that we're connected, that C5 works, and that was such an incredible experience and all that stuff. And and it went from there, really, right? I always thought there was something out there and that we connect, but everything's 100% true.
Yeah, that's amazing when you can have an encounter like that, and so many people, witness, what you kind of encountered.
Yeah, I'm not the only one, right? It's like reassuring that I'm the only one that people can know that it's that there's no, that's just the way it is. You just have to accept it and just be like, just understand that there's so much more to learn.
Yeah. So, let me ask you. So you also mentioned, I want to say on that camping trip, that you were listening to chatter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was in the hammock, woke me up, and the one was maybe 10 feet to my left, and then kind of like at my feet at about maybe 20 feet, and then across like the inlet maybe 30 feet, and it was like they're talking to each other, and then so it went from like, so it was mentioned like 1, 2, 3 respectively, what I just said, right? So it was like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3, and then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I was listening to that for a while, right? And it just made me like hypnotized, and I passed out because it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Honestly, when you don't expect something like that to pop up, and you hear, you hear with me, my wife, it drives her crazy sometimes because we'll be driving, and with me, I'm a visual person. Like, I notice when something is off. Like when we're driving on road trips, I point things out because they're not supposed to be there. They don't look natural. And one thing is like, you'll see roadkill. I point that out. Oh, I go, oh, look, someone lost a cushion from a couch or something. And she's like, how did you even see that? I go, it's not natural. It doesn't. That's not a natural shape that you're going to see in nature.
Yeah,
And it's same
so
thing.
obvious. Yeah.
And then when I'm like out and about, even though my hearing is not at what it used to be, I'll hear a noise and it'll wake me up from a dead sleep because it's not a natural sound.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people nowadays, and I'm not saying anybody in the cryptid community, outside of the cryptid community, people are so tied up with what exactly is going on in their face that's for that second that they don't take the time to just take in a deep breath, slowly let it out, kind of relax their shoulders, relax their back, and listen to what's going on around them. Because I promise you, if they go to an area, and this as well as anybody else, if you go to an area where you would expect to hear birds and things like that, you'll hear a sound that is not supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be there. And people say, well, I listen all the time. No, because a lot of people are in urban areas. They're in metropolitan areas. They're going to have all this background noise, all this noise of, construction and vehicles and other noise pollution. You go out into nature, you're going to hear birds, you're going to hear other animals, but then you'll hear something that, okay, that
Yeah.
wasn't a bird, that was not this. What was it? You'd be
Yeah. Like,
surprised the way you could pick up on.
yeah. And to take it somewhere else too on this, my group is having, the fact that I heard the coop, only I heard that, whereas my buddy heard the oop oop and confirmed that. So sometimes you can only hear it even though you're in a group, or no, we've found out that nobody hears it, only the microphone picks it up.
Yep.
Like last weekend I was at this event and there was a slam at 1 a.m. and it was like we should have heard that around the fire, but no one heard that slam. But the microphone picked it up very well, and it was a tree slam. So it's like, it makes me believe that these beings are like, clearly they're like our visual light spectrum or interdimensional, but they're still very primal beings in the sense. They're from the earth, they're from nature, they're from the forest. I believe so. They behave that way. That's their home. That's their character. That's their heritage. That's their culture.
Yeah.
Forest, these tree slam, the tree knocks, the tree smack at each other, throwing rocks, messing around with people, poking people. Like it's yeah, pretty wild stuff, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, being nature, it's so important. That's like getting away and the grounding too, like putting your feet on the ground, so you're more at frequency with the earth,
Yeah.
and better
Absolutely.
balance and lowering stress and all that.
Oh yeah. So, and especially when I'm ever outside, uh, um, with my grandkids, in the backyard, I'm always out there barefoot.
Nice.
Always. Even when I leave my house to go check the mail, I'm barefoot, I walk
Right on.
across the front yard. I walk across the street, check the mail, come back, walk back through the yard. Even if it's just for, 10, 15 seconds, I'm
Mhm.
just trying to reground. And honestly, I suggest everybody just try that, recenter yourself. So you'd be amazed at what it'll do for you. You'll be amazed on what opens up in your eye's mind, or your mind's eye, or however you want to say it. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
so, all right, man. Hey, let me give you just one. Do you have anything you want to plug, or anything you want to um tell
Yeah, I
us?
don't. Not really. Just want to get those experiences out there. Yeah, I would just say, leave when you go into the forest. Go in love and peace, and enjoy it, and leave nature, better than you found it, or leave it better for the next camper if they're around, and get out in nature. I really hope for you to get out in nature, not be afraid. Like if I go with buddies, I'm not afraid. Definitely, if there's like 3, 4 of us, and we're
Mhm.
prepared, and I don't have to worry. I'm not in fear of anything. They just come around their own time, their own subtle ways. They all have different characters. They all do different things. Some I've heard counters of like healing, uh, but I think that they're more so like great teachers. They're teaching about themselves, their own individualism, but also about ourselves, our consciousness, physics, what is possible. They constantly provide epiphanies and insights and all these new concepts. So that's why I call them the great teachers.
Oh, there you go. Well, my brother, I'm going to go ahead and close the show out.
Yeah, love it.
You
All right,
want,
bud. Take care.
yeah, if
Till
you
next
want to,
time, I'll let you know what happens.
yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to it.
All right, take care. Thanks. Bye.
All right, dude. Bye. All right, you guys. That was Christopher, man. I'm going to tell you right now, he's really nice guy to talk to. We've talked off camera and through emails. Very insightful. Now, what he discussed, about the CE5 meditation and the star people, and that may not be everybody's cup of tea, you know, but a lot of stuff. See, this is where I like to say that anything is probable in this, in this community. The woo side and what I believe in, flesh and blood, and then you have the spiritual part of it. You know, something like this, a person who talks about things like this kind of brings them all together, where a lot of stuff is possible within this community, within this subject matter. So, with that being said, you guys try to have an open mind when you're talking about things. Again, I'm not going to dispute anything. I know what I saw. What I saw was flesh and blood, but I'm not going to tell someone who believes that, oh, they're interdimensional beings. I'm not going to tell them that they're wrong. If someone says that they're the Nephilim, I'm not going to tell them that they're wrong. But it takes people willing to open up their minds, willing to look at all different sides of this subject to really keep it going forward. Because if we all stay fast in what our belief is, this subject will never move forward. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for everything you've done for the channel. Thank you for, all the kind words you guys leave in chats. Now, some people don't leave kind words, but you know what? Still, thank you for those comments. I really appreciate them. I just hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. And as my buddy Josh always says, from Mysteries Unknown, he says, stay prayed up. And as I always like to say, before I give my send off, if you guys have had an encounter you'd like to be on the show, please shoot me an email at the cryptidpodcast72 at gmail.com. That's the cryptidpodcast72 at gmail.com. And also, Josh Smith and myself, Mysteries Unknown, and the Cryptid Podcast have joined forces, and we have started a website. We're still working on it. There's some bugs that we want to get completely done. You guys can navigate around it, but it is live right now. The new website is called www.mysteriesandcryptids.com. That's where Mysteries Unknown and the Cryptid Podcast have joined forces to bring both of our shows, and we're working on a Mysteries and Cryptids show. Everything under one location. We'll have vlogs, we'll have blogs, we'll have a store. We'll have a newsletter. We'll have a members only section. We'll have a way for you guys to contact us. Let us know if you've had an encounter, things like that. Again, it's www.mysteriesandcryptids.com. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping in and spending 1 minute, 10 minutes. I appreciate it. You guys, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to just tell you before I leave, remember, you guys, a legend begins with a sighting. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you on the next show. Bye.
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?